you base your happiness around material women and large paper. That means you inferior, not major.
I gotta say, as much as I love the Z, it makes me sad not walking out here and being able to just gawk at the engine bay of the Miata, because I'm so happy about it. Okay, so we have some small projects to do today that we've been putting off for a very long time. Okay, first one being brakes on the Vette, because it's outside, it might rain, I want to get that done first. We also have a blower motor resistor for the Vette. So the Vette right now, when you get on the brakes lightly, it shakes a little bit, so that leads me to believe that the rotors are bad. It could be something else in the front suspension, a bushing or something, but we're going to start with the brakes because I'm sure they could stand to be replaced because I've never replaced them the entire time that I've owned it. We're going to do the blower motor resistor because it only works on high. That usually is a blower motor resistor because what it does is turn the voltage down going to the blower motor. 5 is just full voltage, so you're bypassing the resistor. So hopefully that solves that. I just kind of want to get this car completely dialed before we start the raffle. There's going to be a couple bigger things that we're going to have to do after the raffle starts, but I want the car to be dialed for whoever gets it so they can get in it and drive it every day like I do and be comfortable and not have anything to worry about. So we'll be announcing that soon, I promise. Finalizing everything now. I know it's taken a while, but we got a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, reason we're working on that and the Z and some other stuff today, well, I guess the Z would we got a lot of fun projects to do today, but today was supposed to be the clutch day. We were going to be doing the clutch on the Z. Steve was coming up to give me a hand. It would have been really nice to have his help because he knows what he's doing, so it's nice. Like, I don't have to direct him. We just knock stuff out and it's fun, have someone to chill with. But the clutch didn't come in. UPS just sat on it for 3 days before sending it out from California, so now I just have no clutch. It was supposed to be here yesterday. Gonna work on it today. Not here. Sway bars didn't show up. Some other stuff didn't show up. So we're waiting. We're gonna have to be doing it after work next week, which kind of sucks, but we'll get it done. It's not a big deal. Because of that, though, we want to be productive today. I'm not gonna waste my Saturday away doing something fun, going out. No, we're gonna work on stuff. So there's always stuff to be done. So that's what we're doing. Long-winded intro over. Man, it really has been a while since you guys have seen this thing, huh? I know some of you comment when it's in the intro. This thing's so rad. I love this car. I love the interior. I love the stance. I really like this car. Man, whoever gets this car, you're gonna like it. You're gonna love it. Because it's sick. Okay, that's enough stalling. Let's go. I forgot this car is actually kind of low. We need ramps. So the Vette brakes work really well, and I was always like, oh man, it's it's not like a 4-piston caliper, weak. Yeah, but look at how massive it is, and look at how big the rotors are. They're vented. I don't know. These look way gnarlier now that I'm paying attention to them than I ever thought they were. I never understood how they worked so well. Okay, anyway, more stalling. It's hot. I'm already sweating. Pop the caliper off, pop the rotor off. Yeah, brakes are one of the easiest things you can do on a car. Oh, we need to do an oil change. Don't let me forget. Maybe I'll start draining it now. Put the car on jack stands. Oil is draining, but the drain plug is at the front of the oil pan, so we'll have to jack it up, pull the jack stands out, and drop it down to get it a little more level. But we're gonna continue with the brakes. I want to get this done. It's hot. Hot AF. Remind me to never say things like easy in working on cars again. These brake caliper bolts are huge, and whoever tightened these down, I mean, they've got to be at over 150 foot-pounds at least. Tried wrench with a mini sledge. I've tried a weird combination of extensions and swivel, but it's just not quite enough juice with all the extensions. Let me make sure it's this thing's, and this thing rips stuff off. I don't know, I guess we'll try to sneak a breaker bar. There's nowhere to put a breaker bar though, because the control arm's in the way. I don't know, when I get this bolt off, I'll time lapse some more. All right, well, it took jacking the car up as high as I could get it, and a big breaker bar, and a lot of heft to break that bolt loose. But it's loose. Caliper's about to come off. Well, pretty much already off, actually. Now the sun's back out. It was just chilling in the clouds for a minute there. Wheel bearing seems solid. Rotor's not too bad, but we're replacing it. Pads have certainly seen better days. So we're gonna go compare the new parts, or the old parts to the new parts. Scared of a little wind, Sandy? Come on now, you're tougher than that. My own side. Okay. New pads. Sounds like they have the clips too. It's always good. I always want to get ahead of myself and take both sides apart just so I get it over with, but you're much better off verifying everything is correct first. These little feeler tabs, I mean, they might not need to go on different sides, but I'm gonna put them on the same side. Pads are right though, so that's good. It does come with the spring clips. I'm gonna consider replacing those. I don't know that I want to. So these are also directional because the vents go, can only go one way to be on the right side. So this is actually driver's side. It's the right size. It's definitely a lot more meat on these. Okay. Now we can get to the rest of the work. All right, I went ahead and swapped the clips out. It was easy enough. It's, one on each end and then one at the center there. There's the old clips. Came out easy, went in easy. Okay, so now when you do new brake pads, your piston, let me bring this out here so you guys can see. Your piston is set at like where the pad wears to. So basically if we put our new pads in there, they wouldn't open enough for this rotor, let alone the bigger rotor. So what we gotta do, pop the brake cap open and then use, I have like a little 3-jaw puller that I have taken apart for this to push the pistons back in all the way, essentially reset them. So I'm gonna do that and then we can start throwing this thing back together. It's so hot. And how, you can't even tell. I'm super sweaty. I'm like soaking wet. All right, since this is a dual piston design, when I would press one in, it'd press the other one out. So what I had to do is crack the bleeder, and press the last one in and let it just squirt the fluid out. So it seemed to work just fine. Here's what I used. This is like just the main screw and thing part of a 3-jaw puller. And it kind of like, it's worked for like every brake caliper I've ever used it on. This is kind of what you do. Slide it in like that. Then just tilt it up and then screw it into the actual piston itself, and then it just pushes it back in. I use an impact and just go slow. Okay, reassembly on this side. Hopefully that goes smoothly because this has been a process. The easy stuff's never easy, right? If only the hard stuff could be easy, when the easy stuff's hard, but it doesn't work that way either. It just doesn't. Usually the second part of any project goes better than the first, which is the case with over here. Got it done pretty quick. I was smart enough to turn the wheel, and then I was able to get the impact in here for both of these without having to use extensions or use the breaker bar, because they were both very, very, very tight like the last one. So what we're gonna do now is press the brake. I need to put this brake cap back on. We're gonna have to wait for that. Press the brake. We'll have to pump it a couple times while everything kind of like tightens up, and then see if we got any leaks. And if not, we can go test drive it, see how it is. But we got one more project to do before we test drive. Yeah, hot, Florida. Got a Wix filter to put on the Vette. I like to run the Wix filters. They're a decent price for a nice filter. I don't know. Get them at O'Reilly's there. There's not much more to say about that. We got Mobile One 1550. I got a bunch of it for the Vette and the Z. Reason being, it's basically like VR1. It's a very high zinc oil. It's good for like older engines, track cars, stuff like that, turbo cars especially. And it's super cheap at Walmart. It's like 21 bucks or something. So for 5 quarts. So I just run that. It's easy. Look at Sandy just being a great garage kitty. Isn't that right, Sandy? You're doing a good job today. Wish you would have pulled your weight on the trans pool, but you know, whatever. You were busy exploring and stuff. Okay, doing the blower motor resistor is what it looks like. It is a kind of a pain to get to because it's in there like this and it's all the way in the back. So I don't know how I'm gonna get to these 2 bolts. If I can't feel them, so maybe I'll get lucky and they won't be there. But yeah. That is what I'm doing now. All right, we got it out. Luckily, whoever replaced this already, left these back 2 screws loose, so they like held it up, but I didn't have to loosen them. I just kind of like pulled it down and popped it out. Otherwise, I don't even know how I'd get to those. This thing is buried under the dash. Absolutely one of my top least favorite things working on cars is under the dash when you have a bucket seat. And even worse, a cage. Just like laying on your back and it's like you're laying on the bolster and it's so uncomfortable. But we're about to put this back in and we won't have to do that, hopefully. Hopefully, I shouldn't say that. I need to stop saying things like this. Hey Sandy, can you go ahead and throw that blower motor in for me? I'm gonna start working on the 350. Is that okay? Well, bad news, that did not solve the problem. I'm not sure what the deal is. Within the signal to the blower motor is not working on 1 through 4 and 5 is. It's just like that's always a remote blower motor resistor. If you guys have any idea what else it might be, let me know because I gotta fix that. So I'm gonna take this thing for a quick test drive, go get a drink from the store, and then we'll get to working on the Z. Literally started raining and lightning as soon as I left the store. That is why I wanted to do the Vette first. Drives amazing now, does not do any of the shakiness while braking. It's funny, when you have a car that's your daily, you kind of neglect a lot of stuff. You're like, oh, it's fine, I'll fix it later. And then you're like, oh, I gotta get rid of this thing, I need to fix all this stuff. And you fix all that stuff, and then you're like, wow, this thing's great. Why am I even getting rid of it? Anyway, like that, I'm sure once I do the trans and like put angle back on it, it's gonna be hard to get rid of it. But the raffle will be announced by that time anyway, so I'll be committed. I'm committed anyway. Okay. Jeez Louise. All right, 350Z. What we gotta do is change the clutch hydraulics. That way we don't have to deal with it when we're putting the clutch back in. So we got our slave cylinder. Where does that even go? Oh, well, I gotta find all this stuff. I always call this the slave, the master cylinder. Slave's down there. Car already has a braided line, but it still had that spongy feel, so I'm thinking one of the 2 was bad and it was giving me that spongy feel and then that lack of return. So hopefully changing those and the clutch and going to single mass flywheel, all that will solve the annoyingly gooey clutch issue. So we're gonna get started on that. All right, we got it out. It's kind of annoying because of this hose. This hose is right in the way. Then these wires were right in the way, which I moved them. I like disconnected them and moved them out of the way. There's like the hard line. Slaves on, very, very easy, that part. So we're gonna put the master on, bench bleed it, like in the car kinda, and then finish that up. Oh my gosh, that was rough. That was real rough. I hate you, Nissan engineers of the 350Z. Oh, a good thing I had to show you guys this, otherwise I would have forgot to plug these in. Anyway, I don't know if you can see, but that brake line going under that rubber hose is the fitting you have to put back in. There's the rubber hose, there's a reservoir full of fluid. So to try to keep it bench bled, you gotta leave this hose on, which makes it virtually impossible to get this fitting in, because as you know, brake line fittings are like really, really difficult to get to line up correctly. They have to line up perfect or they won't go in. There's no cross threading them, like they've gotta go in perfect. So that, coupled with it being down there, coupled with the hose, made it a not fun experience, but it's on. And we're done. Now we can do a oil change and move on with our lives. Well, I'm definitely glad we got the clutch hydraulics done today. It's one of those things where like, you're like, oh, I'll just do them when I do the clutch. But then it turns into a fiasco like that. It takes like an hour and a half, 2 hours of your time, especially in a packed day, like putting a clutch in and putting the car all back together and getting it running and driving again. So I'm glad we got that out of the way today, and the brakes and stuff. It's the sloppy mechanics motto, an hour a day goes a long way. It really does make a big difference. That's an hour of work we don't have to do tomorrow. Sucks in the Z, there's no real good spot for this catch can where the hoses aren't gonna have to be ridiculously long or something, so I kind of have to take it out to empty it, which it should be pretty full, I would assume. Not, I don't know. Not very full at all. It's got like a tiny bit in it. Well, change though, I just wanted to check this because if this is full, you know, it might start sucking into the intake and smoking and just burning it all out, so we're good though. All right, I'm all showered and clean. I'm gonna practice some TIG welding because every time I've TIG welded recently, it's been like to do a project and I've been almost out of argon for like months and I haven't gone and got any more, so I couldn't practice before doing it. So I really want to start practicing some more and like set my game up and try to get decent at TIG welding because I really enjoy it. It's like a satisfying thing, especially just making anything with your hands. It's like satisfying. So I need to practice this. If you guys want to see that kind of stuff, let me know. I was going to put it in this video, but I probably won't be out here for too long because it's getting late. But that's going to be it for this video. Tomorrow we should have the clutch here and we can start doing that. Got a couple other surprises, like new additions to what we're doing to the Z during this refresh. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.